Hello and welcome to today's League of Legends Roundup. We're going to cover the games that took place today as well as the EG-TSM match from last night that I did not include in yesterday's Roundup due to it ending so late because of a multiple hour pause. So if you notice down in the description there are 3 links, one to the Discord, one to my Twitter, and one to becoming a member of the channel. Discord and Twitter are free, very simple things to do. Twitter is helping me expand my Twitter, social media and nonsense like that. Discord's free. We BS about the games as they occur, talk about league, have a predictions channel if you want to participate in those. We keep track of them, and we'll also do some other interesting things on there. When it comes to being a member, for $3 you just support me, which is, keeping this channel afloat, sustaining this channel. You get a little badge in the comments, and you get noticed in the comments as a subscriber. If you become a member for $10, you get extra content. I am doing my predictions for the games as part of that extra content. It's an extra video, pretty much multiple videos a week extra, as well as NFL predictions that will be starting next week and fantasy football weekly rankings. So if that interests you, go there. Now, for last night, EG-TSM, after Game 2, Game 2 had audio issues. They finished it. Between Games 2 and Game 3, there was a massive pause, delay due to network issues, audio issues, and eventually they just said, screw it, we're going to play through it, and they finished it out. EG winning 3-2. This is very concerning. This should not have been this close. Danny, 13, 11, 39, 32% of the team's damage, playing Seraphine, I believe, 3 times. Inspired, 22, 7, and 35 in the jungle, carrying with the kills. Inspired put the team on his back. Maple, 17, 14, and 24 in mid for TSM. He tried his hardest and could not get it done. Tactical, 12, 16, and 20. If that doesn't show you just how much of a struggle it was for TSM to even get to 5 games, I don't know what will at 31% damage. Just 1 second. Okay, so yeah, Tactical, 12, 16, 20, 31% damage. Tried to lead the team in damage, but he was inting his face off a lot in this series. Dying, mispositioning. Honestly, they got to 5 games. Would it have been different with Instinct? I don't know. I really don't. TSM are coming in as the underdog by a lot, and we came this close to getting CLG versus TSM. If you really think about it, TL almost lost CLG, EG almost lost TSM. There is a world, right? And that was pretty damn close. That we could have CLG or TSM at Worlds, as freaking crazy as that was going to sound, right? Maple, this is too bad. I was really rooting for Maple to get to Worlds. He's used to being on a minor region team, and save the LCS jokes, but TSM is a minor region team by comparison. It's unfortunate, to say the least, that TSM couldn't get it done. EG, though, need to step it up in their next series tomorrow, which we'll get to in a minute. This is not going to get it done. LCK this morning, DRX and Sandbox. Sandbox ended up choking. The young players struggled when the iron was hot and it was go time. DRX win 3-2 in Game 5. Def 27, 9, and 19. 31% of damage. The veteran overcoming Prince. Zika 21, 8, and 25. He showed up in a big way in not only this series, but the KT series as well. I was impressed with Zika in these 2 series in that he actually showed up. When he got to the plate, he delivered. Prince, 17, 16, and 21. He died a ton. Once again, against Gen G, against Damwon, Prince was non-existent. He only had several kills and a few deaths in a losing effort, right? And it's kind of like, okay, well, you need to be a little more aggressive and step it up. Well, 17, 16, 21 isn't going to get it done. That Nyla priority made no sense. Absolutely no sense. I don't know why we had so much Nyla priority out of Sandbox. Nobody else had that kind of priority on the new champ. It just doesn't work. You can one-off it, but if the other team's expecting it because you keep playing it all the damn time, then it's not going to work. Closer have the most damage for Sandbox, 12, 9, 21, 30% of damage. This young team will come back next year stronger. That bot lane of Prince and Kale is going to be better. I expect this team to be competitive, unlike from spring to summer, where I had them 10th place because I didn't know anything about Prince. I didn't know. I just knew that Sandbox disappointed me in spring. In spring, I thought they were a team that could step it up and get into the top 4, 5, or 6 of the region, and they didn't. They finished 8th or 9th? Where in summer, they turned it around. Prince turned it around. I'm happy I was wrong on that prediction. And honestly, I'm looking forward to how they do in 2023. LNG and Victory 5. LNG continue to cruise, man. I had Victory 5 winning this 3-2 in my predictions, and I'm okay with being wrong. LNG went 3-1. Light, despite having a health episode in Game 1, went 28-5-19 with a team leading 41% of damage. We haven't seen a 40 in a minute. In the playoffs, really, there's been a lot of spread out damage on these teams. 41% is eye-opening. Ale, 18-10-12, really took it to Rich in top lane once again. Rookie, 18-12-19 in mid, and Photic, 17-11-20, 32% of damage for Victory 5. Karsa did not show up, and that's kind of what's got me a little bit ticked. All along, I thought Zhao Lao Bao was kind of playing in a place that Karsa should have been, and honestly, the way Karsa played against LNG, the coach was probably right. Karsa did not show up at all. LNG just kind of ran them right over. LNG have been playing through topside all playoffs long, and they did it once again after already beating Victory 5 once. And, I mean, the LNG train continues to chug along. You know, all playoffs long, I was saying EDG and LNG, not right away, of course. When they started winning, I was like, EDG and LNG have the capability of running the table here. They can get there. And it looks more and more like that's going to be a thing. I mean, well, EDG's already there, and LNG play RNG, right? So it could become a thing tomorrow. We'll see. It'll be interesting. We're going to get into that in a minute. LEC, G2 and Rogue, G2 3-0 Rogue. G2 are cruising. They are cruising right now. They are hot at the right time as normal. This team is ready. They played Seraphine Bot twice. Took, I think, a page out of the LCS book on that one, which is kind of funny. The East watched some LEC games, and apparently, G2's coaching staff took note of some of the comps that LCS teams are running, and that kind of happens. Despite the East being superior in nearly all aspects, if not all aspects, they do watch other regions for ideas, and I think that is the best way to succeed. So, Caps, 13-4-17, 30% of damage in mid for G2. Yankos, 10-8-19. Comp, 7-5-8, 30% of damage for Rogue. Larson, 10-8-10. Oda went like 0-14-14. Absolutely did not do his job as a weak side top laner at all. This was awful. They went top side and they dug his grave for him. It was a struggle. Rogue go down to the losers bracket now, and they play the winner of tomorrow's game between Fnatic and Mad. But G2 are looking unstoppable. 100 Thieves in C9. I had C9 winning this 3-2. C9 win 3-1. Jensen, 16-8, 26, 26% of damage. Very evenly spread damage for C9. Fudge, Jensen, and Berserker all around 25, 26% damage. Everybody doing their part in a big way. Berserker, 16-8 17. Abadage, 15-8 23 in mid with 27% of damage. That includes a Seraphine game. FBI, 14-7 21. As C9, they are hot as well. I said this in my prediction video that was members only, so only a few people watched it. But, C9 are hot. They are hot, and it's going to be hard to stop that train. We've been waiting for C9 to show up, and they're finally showing up. And it is in a big way. They have the pieces to go on a run here. So we'll see if it continues. 100 Thieves down into the losers bracket to play the winner of tomorrow's game, which we're going to go to in a second. Okay, now for my sneak peek. 69% win rate right now for my predictions. LNG and RNG. So LNG lost to RNG week 6, day 5. RNG winning 2-1 in this series. Panda C was playing. We remember that phase for LNG where they took out Ale and put in Panda C. Gala went 17-4-9 in that 3-game series. Ale versus Breathe is what we want to watch. This is a big test for LNG. RNG are a beast, winning MSI, not doing as well in summer, but still 13-3. I mean, can't take anything away. Like, they're very, very, very freaking good, right? But Ale did not play them last time, and it was 2-1, so it was close. Ale is really coin flip this playoffs. Sometimes he's going really, really well, and if you can figure out a way to get him off his game, you can dominate. So I think a lot of this hinges on top lane, because Doinby is really playing like a facilitator role on steroids. A lot of Renekton mid and things like that, where Xiaohu plays a similar role, just with more oomph in the terms of like his damage output and things like that. And Xiaohu's coming off of a very solid series where he led the team in a loss to EDG. So I do think that this one is going to be a close one, without a doubt. Fnatic and Mad Lions. Fnatic 10-8, Mad 12-6. They played twice during the regular season, Mad winning both. Unforgiven being the key carry in Game 1, 6-0-3. Armit in Game 2, 5-0-4 on a Gwen. I'm watching Upset versus Unforgiven. Frankly, the bot lanes in general, both of these teams are very close. I have it going 5 games. I do give Fnatic the edge in top lane, Mad the edge in jungle for sure. Mid is close for different reasons, and then bot lane is close. In the way that Upset is probably better than Unforgiven, but Hilly is not as consistent as Kaiser. Obviously, we know Hilly is capable of being very good, but also in his face-off. So I think it really hinges on mid lane. If Fnatic can keep Niski in mid or punish him for roaming and not succeeding and getting kills and creating pressure, then Fnatic should be okay. But if not, I think Mad Lions could take it. Their bot lane, I do think, is the best bot lane in the LEC right now, all around. And I want to, honestly, I'm excited to see how Unforgiven does at Worlds. He's a young player that I want to see how he performs on a big stage. I feel differently about Unforgiven than I do Flakked. Both two very young players, but Flakked I feel like Targamas does a lot of the work for him. Where Unforgiven, I feel like, deals the damage. He deals the damage. He does what he has to do. So this should be another good one. And then EG and TL, two teams that are trying to lose. They tried to lose to CLG and TSM, and they could not. In the 2 games they played, they split 1-1 in summer. Danny went 11-1-8. Excuse the smudges. It was on an Ezreal. Bwipo 6-2-10 on a set. Danny versus Hansama is what I want to watch. So I said this in my predictions video. I'm gonna say here, these two AD carries I think have they struggle under pressure. Danny, if you recall at MSI, now the difference is though Danny is very young. Hans has been around the block. He should kind of have this worked out by now, if he was going to get it worked out. Where Danny is still very young. These are his first times in these big moments, and I think that pause against TSM helped them, allowed him to calm down, because I think he was struggling a lot in the first 2 games, and then they started putting him on Seraphine more and kind of had him take a back seat and just kind of go with the flow, and allow Inspired and who'd I have? Well, Inspired carry pretty much. And with Hans, you could see after each game with Bwipo patting Hans on the back like, hey man, I'm here for you. Like, clearly Hans was on struggle street too. So I think whoever gets ahead early in this series is going to win it, because the other bot laner is just going to not be able to handle it. And that could go either way, right? These teams are close. So that's it for the sneak peek. That's it for the roundup today. Like the video if you like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Earlier today, my JDG Worlds 2022 Power Preview came out. By now, you'll see that there's like a subscriber circle, a video, and a playlist. The playlist is Worlds 2022. If you missed those videos, where so far I'm going through the teams one a day leading up to Worlds as the teams are you know, now we have a lot of teams that are going to Worlds, right? So we can just keep going along. We don't have to wait. So thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, like it. You know, join the Discord, follow me on Twitter, become a member, and I hope you come back for more content.